Welcome to Sunday Gravy Radio, where opinions fly, stories get told, and no conversation is too weird to make the menu. We're Mark and Tim, your hosts, and we're mixing together movies, debates, life experiences, and whatever else catches our attention this week. So grab a seat at the table, and we'll see where the gravy goes. And today we're at show number 7. We're chugging along. We hope you liked the gravy show, right, Tim? That was kind of fun, actually making the gravy and talking about the fun. And I just saw something on Facebook like a half hour ago. I sent it to you, and there was a post on something, one of the pages. What's a food hill you're willing to die on? So I was thinking you would probably come up with reheaters should be sent out to pasture.
Yeah.
Right?
The reheaters. And reheating would be taking a jar of Prego, taking a jar of ragu, putting in a pot and reheating it. You're not actually making something from scratch, or nuking it. Yeah. You're not actually making something from scratch.
2 minutes, 2.5 minutes of nuked. All done. Boil that Barilla pasta. I like Barilla, but anyway. Anyways, we hope you liked the last show. We're eager to hear your stories and your recipes and of your gravy, your spaghetti sauce. Even if it's like 4 shows from now, just drop us a line. We'll show you. We'll tell you how to do that at the end. But anyways, speaking of that, Tim knows I made another double batch of pasta for today. I'm not doing a long sauce. I'm going to do the short sauce. But I got the pasta resting in the fridge for now, and maybe I'll get the wife to start rolling some pasta with me. Put her to work, right, Tim?
There you go.
Give her the old Brenza pinky, the old Brenza fist with the pinky
up. I ain't saying it on here what he said.
Sure you can.
No, I ain't. First of all, you use the name.
It could be any Brenzia. There you go. His name's Brenzia.
Knock over the fucking couch. Yeah, sure thing. Because I saw somebody getting pulled by his ear.
And we'll just leave it at that. Those who know,
we'll leave it at
those
that.
who don't. Anyway, this is show 7, and we're talking about hosting the holidays and parties in general. You know, what entails planning it, who does the hosting, pitfalls, and most importantly, in my opinion, the fun or the chaos that ensues. I'm sure there might be some chaos stories out there, but why don't we get right into it, Tim?
Yeah, let's do it.
I just did a couple of bullet points in our notes. What holidays did our families host? And I'll go first really quick. Generally, growing up as a kid, it was always, Easter. It would be my paternal grandma, and then it filtered to, as she got older, it filtered down to her daughter, which would be my aunt. And then for Easter, when we started our family, my wife and I, we kind of took over bouncing back and forth on who hosted between my cousin and myself. Thanksgiving was always at my aunt's house. My paternal aunt's house was always there. And then her daughter took over. And then sometimes we wouldn't go over there. We would just host my wife's family the past, let's say maybe 10 or 15 years. Let's see, at Christmas, it was kind of a bouncing thing. We'd go to my maternal grandparents' house, grandfather. And then lately it's just been Christmas Eve would be Chris's side of the family, and then Christmas Day would be my side of the family, whether it's over here or over at my cousin's house. It was always one of those things where back in the olden days, and I'm sure this was the same way with you, Tim, as far as Christmas and Easter, people got gifts. The kids pretty much just got the Easter baskets, but Christmas, everybody got a gift from everybody. Am I right?
For a while, yes, on our side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when stuff was cheap, like I would give a gift to all of my cousins, all of my aunts, all of my uncles. And then, so you have a huge pile of Christmas gifts under the tree. I'm sure it was probably maybe the same way when you were a kid. You come down, downstairs or whatever, just gifts up the butt. Back when it was simpler times and things were cheaper.
Oh yes, yes. Hmm.
Nowadays, as far as Christmas is concerned, what is it now? And pretty much all holidays, what is it now? Just gift cards, right? I don't know what to get. What do you want? I don't know.
Right,
Give me a gift card.
and I'll speak to that too.
But
uh,
how about your family? What did you how did it bounce back and forth
growing
on your families?
growing up, I always remember that we always hosted Thanksgiving, and it wasn't always necessary one side or the other. I remember my cousins and uncle; they we all lived across the alley from each other. It was a probably predominantly 80% Italian neighborhood in the east side or around Saint Donatus Church. That was the focal point of what my dad used to call the four city blocks that surrounded it. Uh, but we hosted Thanksgiving, but Christmas Eve, I know my mom, we never hosted Christmas Eve because, and it was always done with the Italian side because we did the Feast of the Seven Fishes. So it would be
Mhm.
by my mom's, like they're her first cousins or,
Right.
uh, some aunts and uncles. And then Christmas Day, that was what my dad's side. So we'd go by my Uncle Rich and Aunt Joe's one year. Then they come over we would flip flop who would do something like that.
Right.
Easter, well, I'll go back. New Year's Day, my Uncle Al always, for whatever, he always did New Year's Day. Um, I'm trying to think about Easter, who did that. We may have hosted,
Mm.
here and there, but it was probably maybe a mixture of going back and forth between dad's side, mom's side of the family type of stuff.
Was there
So
was there a lot of travel? Because we went from where I grew up into pretty much South Chicago, the South Chicago neighborhood, and then my aunt lived in Lansing at the time, which is pretty much the border of Indiana. So you're talking, half hour, one way. How about
yeah,
you? I mean, you said you were across the alley, but was that all the
well
family or?
that was in Blue Island, so
Right.
that made it really convenient. But
Oh yeah.
if it's still, like on my for the Christmas Eve, it was still always centered uh, in Blue Island, somewhere in
Right.
Blue Island, even if it was on the west side of Blue Island. But I do remember now Thanksgiving, my cousin Lynn, when she was living in Oak Brook, we would go there for
Mm,
Thanksgiving as well. So it would
nice.
be our house. So it was probably back and forth between my mom and her brother,
Gotcha.
who did Thanksgiving, or one of their kids. The older they got,
Right.
they would do a little hosting. If we
Hmm.
went to my uncle Rich's house, we went to Chicago Heights from Blue Island. So
Okay.
yeah, you're probably talking half hourish or
Right.
so.
So it wasn't. We never. It was never really over the river and through the woods, basically for us, because we're in a metro area. It's not like we're out in the country or anything like that. We're I hate to say it, but we're getting older. Bigger the crowds, bigger, smaller, the same. Do you try to do it the same? I mean, obviously, people pass. I mean, you just lost your mom last year, and
Right.
but
When it comes to uh, like hosting, when we got married, we started doing stuff like Judy's mom always, she said, I don't care where you go on Christmas. I want Christmas Eve. And
mhm,
I'm not going to I'll talk to you off air about that, why that was important to her. I don't want to put that out on here.
right,
Uh, and then Christmas Day, whenever we were there, go by my mom's house, or when we got married, we did a lot of the hosting of a lot of the holidays to include Easter, Thanksgiving,
yeah.
uh, Christmas, but not. Sometimes Thanksgiving it would flip flop, go by in laws' house, stuff like that. But
Well,
I
when
mean,
you when you
we did a lot of hosting.
sure when you think about it, it's just easier I mean, especially with us, we're kind of centrally located, at least on Chris's side of the family. You know, when you have kids, I mean, you could only see from your eyes, Tim, but as far as actually having kids, you know, when in Sunday school, in school and all this, you know, it's kind of hard to get everyone together because everyone wants to be together and I don't want to say it's negatively, but kind of show off their kids, you know, and have people experience their kids. It's just hard. You can't. I'm getting to you can't be everywhere at once, even on a holiday.
No,
Even if you're doing Christmas Eve and Christmas, it's just not going to happen. You can't. It just doesn't work. So
no.
you
And
know the bouncing
sometimes
back and
some
forth is advantageous. So it's like, okay, this year you're over here, and you know my cousins are having more kids now, so the crowds kind of are going to be more up if they're hosting because they're going to bring their in-laws over. It's an evolution, I guess.
mhm. We'll talk about also later the skustamad,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I'll define that, but we'll talk about that.
How about Tim? What did you like best? Which holiday was your personal favorite?
I mean, I don't know because me and Judy, ever since we've been married, we started our own tradition.
Gotcha.
And
Right.
when
So
it came to like
agree.
Easter or came to Christmas, that's probably one of my favorites was Christmas because we would always there would be prepared
Right.
like breakfast the next morning. I'm always up earlier than Judy, so I'd put in an oven like a baked French toast or some
Hmm.
type of a baked breakfast meal. We have champagne, well, not real champagne, but bubbly. We'd have
Right.
that toast. We'd have a little something to eat, open up gifts, go to church. But you know, sometimes we go to Christmas Day, but we also go to Christmas Eve mass as well.
Ooh,
But that
speaking
it's
of
just the
Christmas Eve, speaking of Christmas Eve mass, if I could interject before I forget, and in relation to what just closed recently, Ford City Mall just closed in the Chicago area. And if you know what Ford City Mall is, you know, but there was 1 year, no, I actually think it was 2 years with my mom's brother, my uncle, where there was, I don't know, it was a church in there or a church just rented space in the underground mall. What was it? Peacock Alley down there. I
Peacock
think
Alley, yes.
yep, that's the name of it. Where they had services down there. I think it was 2 years. It may have been Easter. I think it was Easter, but it was like I think it was actually midnight vigil. That was that was very interesting in a mall going to church, but it was still a religious service. So I'm sorry I interjected, but before I forgot, it fortunately Mall is now closed. So one of the histories of my past gone.
Right. So, you know, Easter we do the same thing. We have a little something in, you know, now that we're here in North Carolina, we will do hosting. It just goes back and forth between neighbors
Right,
and different
right.
experiences. Like our neighbor next door, he's Jewish, and we said, you know, hey, we've never had a Hanukkah meal. Can you do one? And he did. So it's something to get that type of an
There you
experience.
go.
Uh, but you know, we've had Easter with neighbors. It's just bounced back and forth. We've done since we moved here. Never did it in Illinois, but we did it here. Progressive dinners where you're
Right. I
starting
remember
at
you mentioned.
one person's house for salad, appetizers, then salad, boom, 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 and then you end up at somebody's house for dessert. So you know that's pretty cool to be able to do that. But
Right.
you know, when it comes to holidays, everybody's got to find their own tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom never really did that, you know, as we all got married and, you know, left the house. She never had her own tradition. And we used to say, you just got to start something, do something, something that you do every year that you're looking forward to for you, like the special breakfast and then opening gifts. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, and when it's just you, the couple, and then obviously when you host your dinner, there's going to be more gifts and
Right.
things. And one of the
Right.
things that when it was on uh, Judy's mom, Judy's mom, when she do the Christmas Eve, it started everybody pick somebody and they bought for one person, then you
Right.
had to
That's
make
how
a
it is
gag.
now.
You had to make a gag gift or
Okay.
create. It didn't have to be just gag. It had to be a creative gift. And Jude and I were talking about something about we all made sock puppets, and it was a joke that was directed at my mother-in-law, but we can't remember why. We can't remember why did we do sock? Why did we make sock puppets for her? We can't remember, but we did. There was a reason. Maybe we'll figure it out. But I
There
think
you go.
it was really spearheaded by my brother-in-law. So when Judy talks to him, she's going to have to ask him, "Do you
There you
remember
go.
why we did the sock puppet stuff?" So it was, but it's things like that. But one of the things that we did, and when Judy used to work, when she got out of college, she worked for retail, and at some point she got, it was miserable for her because she went to school for, she had a degree in mass communications and I think a minor in sociology, and she did a little work for a local newspaper, but that wasn't going to pay the bills when the loans came due. So she ended up went to work for county seat,
Hmm.
and it just became miserable. So she said, I got to get out of this being miserable. And she started, before I came around, she started maybe 1 or 2 years ago that she hosted a Christmas party.
There you
And
go.
it started in her mom's house, which was it was a small Cape Cod,
Right.
but she invited people that were uh, from that she still knew or hung around with from college, work friends, things like that. And I remember when
Hmm.
the first year that we met, it was December of '93. Is We met in August of '93, but December '93, I went. It was hosted at her mom's house, and I got to meet some of her friends and things like that. But then when we got married, we continued that tradition. And there was maybe 1 or 2 years we did not do it. One was because when her mom passed away, that was in October. Judy said, "I just
Right.
can't do it." And people understood. There was one other time we couldn't do it, and I don't remember what it was. But we've had as small as 20 people because of weather. The most we ever had was when we lived on Rosemary. Uh, it was 70 degrees the first weekend in December, and we had 80 people there. And you remember that house, how
Oh
it
yeah.
wasn't a very
It,
large house, but we were able to expand it to the outside.
right. It was.
And we used
I
our
don't
we used our
think.
garage.
I don't. No, I wasn't there for that for sure. But that was a long walk. 3 houses down.
No, you weren't there. I can't remember what year we did that one. Oh, it was in the early 2000s.
There you go.
Because of one of the guys who was on the fire department. That's when he got hired somewhere in the early 2000s, maybe 2001, something like that. And he was there holding up the wall, and we'll talk about that too.
Oh,
It goes back to Scustamad, and then there's another Italian word, briagone, and I'll explain that whenever you want me to. We could talk about that,
right.
but we looked forward to doing that. And the big thing when you're planning something like that, the way we did it is you let us know, bring an appetizer or
Yep.
dessert, and then your favorite beverage. And if you remember, we had the party tubs, put the
Right.
ice in
Yep.
there. We used our garage, especially when we moved to the other side of town,
Yeah.
was heated and air conditioned. So that really helped out. And it's one of those things that we do miss doing. We did a Christmas Eve open house here, but never, I mean, we'd have to rent our clubhouse out to do that. But you're
Right.
talking,
Well,
would
it
you
gets.
would you be able to get some of the old gang to come down here and do that? But it's
Yeah.
it's something that we enjoy doing. But we'll talk about planning and stuff too, and food and things based on
Well,
some of
it's
that stuff you
like
had from Miss Manners.
said before, it's all an evolution. I mean, people die. One of the things when I was a kid, my aunt on my dad's side, she lived right down the block from my grandma. Like I said, we'd go there for Christmas to my grandma's,
Mm-hmm.
but on Christmas Eve we'd go to my aunt's house, which was just down the block, and it'd be like her Christmas. And I'll do another quick story on that. But even as a kid, I was wondering, well, why doesn't she just come to grandma's house? She's just on the block. Why does she have to host? But then you get older, then you think of it. It's like because she wants it, her way. She wants to have her Christmas, her holidays. She wants to, for lack of better terms, show off her Christmas the way she wants to have it.
Right. And
Which
here,
for us, it
speaking of that,
was it was that thing. It's like, okay, going to Auntie Betty's Christmas Eve, and then pretty much turn around and go to the same neighborhood on Christmas Day. But it was fun. She
well,
didn't give that many gifts, which is fine.
no, speaking of that, when it come to like when my mother-in-law used to do Christmas Eve, her house again was small. Well, then grandchildren started coming around, and it
Right.
became too small, and her health was
Mm,
uh, declining a bit,
right.
and she didn't want to relinquish it. But then my brother-in-law said, "You know what, Mom? You can't do it anymore. You just need to be the woman that comes with the dish
Right. Right.
to pass, and you're good." And she
You're
did
passing the torch.
once she relinquished it, she never looked back, and she said, "I like being the lady that has to just come with a casserole or something." She
Right.
didn't make stuff. She didn't make casseroles, but she used that term. I get to do that. But when it comes to holidays itself, one of Judy's good friends that she's known since kindergarten, and they're still friends to this day, she said each year that you host that we'll just call it maybe a family dinner or whatever for a holiday, the table is always going to get smaller as the years pass,
Yeah.
especially when we
Yeah.
get older. And it reminds me of a Magnum PI, and we're talking about the original one. And Magnum lost a good friend, and Higgy was trying to console him, and he said, "You know, the older we get, the more losses we are inevitably going to incur." And it's just
Right.
something that always stuck with that. And he's, Higgy Baby was right about that.
Yeah. One of the points in life is sooner or later, life is going to start taking things away from you.
Right.
No matter how
So
you look
you
at it. No
enjoy it
matter
when
how you look at it.
you enjoy it when you can.
Right.
Uh, but when it came to like, we'll talk about planning, like for, and Judy being a teacher that she is, uh, we'll just we'll take Christmas Day. If we hosted that and we were having people come over, uh, Judy would already start she would just take a piece of paper or list, put it down, what we were going to have as the main meal. And then she'd build around it and she'd write, "I need this, 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 and this." And she would email people or call them up and say, or, "You know what? This is what I'm looking for. You only need to bring this." Like somebody
Right.
could do a salad or a potato dish or something. If you get in, it's first come, first serve on what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk about my mom then, what she did. She tried to make everybody. So Judy did it so she didn't have any replication of dishes. This is
Right.
what you're going to bring. Boom. Somebody could bring bread, whatever it was. But my mom, when she would host it and do it by her house, she tried to make everybody's favorite meal.
Oh,
Like
you can't do that.
my sister liked ravioli. I liked, my mom used to, and this was good for Thanksgiving, a uh, a sweet potato casserole that was baked,
Right.
very good. But you don't put that together with ravioli; it just doesn't work. But
Yeah.
she did that. She put more food on the table than the people that were there, and she always, like, if she did a pasta dish or pasta meal, she would buy just a pre done garlic bread that's in a
Mm-hmm.
foil. You put it up,
Right.
and she'd always either forget it in the oven and it'd burn, or she'd go, "God damn it, I forgot to." She forgot to do it. She forgot to put it. It never failed, Mark. Never failed. But I
I,
mean that.
I
But that's when you talk about planning. That's how, I mean, Judy's just, that's a teacher, and then
right.
and
Well,
it works very
that's how it
well.
has to be. Like you said, you don't want duplicates. You
Replication
don't want
of
five
stuff.
different types of mashed potatoes. Just
No,
bring a mashed potato. We just need one potato. Bring
one
one here.
person
You
and
do it.
one person, and that person's name got wrote in on a list.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to bring.
I don't remember as far as, at least I guess my aunt's Thanksgiving. She did a lot. She did a lot. I know my mom always did the rolls. She did the nice yeasty rolls. She did the rolls. I think other people brought stuff, but I don't recall. I was just a kid because I didn't care who brought what. I just wanted food. But she did a lot, and so did, well, at least for my grandma at Christmas, it was always just the deli ham, thicker cut. It was like cold cuts and stuff like that. It wasn't like a
Mhm.
meal. So whatever they could afford and whatever they could do, that's how it was, and that's what you ate. My we would bring the Polish sausage that my uncle, he had a butcher shop. He would make my grandpa's fresh Polish sausage and sell it, but we'd always bring it with, and the sauerkraut and all that. And like, it's all a planning. You can't do everything for everybody, but if you want to bring it, by all means, bring it. Right. Ooh, one thing on the Christmas Eve that I want to bring up. As a kid, or back in the olden days, one of the big things was always a bottle of booze. Bottle of booze. If you remember in "It's a Wonderful Life,"
Mhm.
when George ran his car into the tree, and the old guy was
Yes.
walking, he had a couple of bottles, gift wrap boxes of, they were obviously booze. Well, that's what it was back in the day. Just give a bottle of booze. So my aunt that hosted Christmas Eve, she would always give people who were of legal age a bottle of booze, whatever it was,
Mhm.
Jack Daniels, whatever. A side story on that: one of my cousins got a bottle of vermouth. Vermouth really
That's
isn't
a
a drink;
mixer.
it's a mixer. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So it's
Your
not like a Jack
martinis,
Daniels or a bourbon. And he's like, "What the hell am I going to do with vermouth?" But I'm like, "Oh, how come I didn't get none?"
martinis.
And my mom and dad be like, "Because you're not adult to drink." Not that I wanted to be a boozer or nothing, but I remember by the time I turned 21, she stopped doing it. I'm like, damn it, I never got a bottle of whatever. It's just
There
one
you
of
go.
those things that evolved.
All right.
It just
So
fell out of style, I guess you could say.
we talked about planning, hosting, pitfalls of replication of dishes, and you try to keep it
Oh
a little
yeah.
more organized. Let's talk about chaos that ensues, Mark.
I have to confess, Tim, there really was the only chaos we had. I gotta do this first because it's simple. The only chaos that we ever endured, at least now, having kids in our house, was trying to get things done in a timely fashion, because going to church with the Sunday school and
Right,
then people working, it was trying to be 10 places at the same time and have a good time, rather than, oh, we got to do this, okay, now we got to go to church. Oh no, he's coming from work. No, it's time to eat. No, we got to go to church. It was just, that was the only chaos we had. We still had fun, but it wasn't enjoyable because you were too busy. Now,
right.
as far as chaos, like you would see in movies, we didn't have that. But I don't know if you have any stories like that, Tim.
No, we'll talk about I'll talk about the Skustamad and the Briagon. We'll start the Briagon. Briagon is it's you're drunk. You're drunk. That's a Briagon. Had a
Stumble
little bit
drunk.
too much. Three steeds to the win. Yes.
The donga need food.
Hell, he's three sheets to the wind. He's drunk as a skunk.
Oh, why don't you shut up, Fred? Shut up, dude.
And there were times when we had Christmas parties when people had a little bit too much to drink and
Joe
they would
style, talking about
make a
heated
fool of
gypsum
them.
board.
Yeah, well, it could be to that level, but we at one time when we were on Rosemary, somebody went outside, stumbled drunk, fell into our neighbor's bushes and stuff. We're like, oh shit. Hopefully they're not wrecked or ruined. No, you had stuff like that. But then we started giving out the Golden Lampshade Award, and there was no actual golden lampshade. It's just it was it was bestowed upon you figuratively. Uh, like if you're way out there, you got drunk and blah, 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 that type of stuff. So still fun. It wasn't something that was disruptive, but there was a couple times where somebody had a
Right.
little bit too much drink, and then the foul mouth came out, and it was offending. It was offending our next door neighbors that no father had VP, and
Oh boy.
so we had to call. We called the next thing. We apologized for that individual's behavior. It's like, we're sorry about this. And then you got the Skustamad. Skustamad is somebody that could be uncouth, no manners, they're rude, or it could even extend that they have the short arms, and I'll talk about that. So I'll
Short
give you a
arms. I know what you're talking
I'll
about.
give you Skoostamad story. Uh, we were at a family dinner. I'm just not going to say whether we hosted or we didn't, but there was a food item that was made and somebody didn't like it. And I'll ask you this, Mark: if you bit into something, you ate something, and you didn't want to be a Skoostamad, you didn't want to be rude, what would you do if you didn't want to actually eat or swallow it? What would you do?
Well, you uh, delicately spit it into a, not spit, but put it into a napkin, and very
Right.
gentleman or gentle lady, like, put it into a napkin, fold up the napkin, and
And you
just
would
not eat
probably do that out of view
out
of
of
the
eye shot.
host, right?
Out of eye shot. But sometimes it's unavoidable. But you don't want to just go.
Well, that now, see, you're talking about that, and that's what exactly happened. Somebody didn't like it,
Oh
just spit it
no,
right back
no,
out on the plane.
no. Wait,
Skoostamad,
hold
another
on, hold
Skoostamad.
on. How old was the person? I could see a kid doing that, like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old. So
Um,
if they're doing that,
when
it's
that
kind of
happened,
excusable.
probably in the person was in 40s, probably.
Oh, so it wasn't a child.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Okay, gotcha.
Child, you could understand, correct.
Yeah,
A,
right.
a
It's
5-year old,
excusable.
3-year old, but not somebody who's in their 40s doing that.
Right. You
Other
put it into a
Skoostamad,
napkin.
another Skoostamad thing. Some
Excuse
restaurants, I wasn't witness to this. I wasn't there because we're living here, but out at a restaurant, and the restaurant used cloth napkins. Would you blow your nose into a cloth napkin that
That
somebody's got
would
to
be
clean?
that would be the last very emergency. That would be an emergency, an
No,
absolute
but
emergency.
this was not an
But in
emergency. You
general,
could have got
no,
up and went to the bathroom and got a paper
absolutely
towel and did it.
right.
So
Go to the bathroom.
that's things that's Skoostamad too. Then you could be a Skoostamad and a Bria going at the same time, or the being a Bria going enhances, and I'll call you make a total made up word, Skoostamadness. It enhances that. So
There you go.
you'll get things like that from time to time. Uh, and then also short arms being they don't bring anything with them,
Right. Oh
or
yeah.
that person's parental units would be buying whatever it was for that person and say it was from them.
Oh yeah.
Type of,
I've got a couple of short armors, and some people tell me stories of, well, I was going to, and I'm thinking I'm going to do this, and they're not hosting, type of thing. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it at your house. That's a couple of stories coworkers have told me.
oh, okay, so it's co-hosting at somebody's house without hosting it,
Right.
and run around it. Okay, you could get stuff. You get the people that have the short arms. You get the people that they'll have way too much and then they let it fly. Again,
Yep.
just scoos them out, uncouth,
Scoostamad. Scoostamad.
scoos them out.
Hey Tim, I found I found a couple of articles from Miss Manners. Do we want to give them a rundown from our notes in our drive? Do you want to go over some Miss Manners stuff?
We could do a little bit of, yeah, we could do stuff like that.
Other than that, I really have no other stories as far as hosting and stuff. Like I said, we did the Sunday gravy. I'm sure that's in Italian families that may be a big thing. But as far as us on the Polish side, it's either always the ham or Polish sausage and sauerkraut,
But that's,
fresh.
and
So
we could do another show on this
sure,
and compare and contrast, uh,
heritage,
you know, heritage,
heritage
yes,
traditions. Yeah,
heritage
we could do that.
traditions. We could do that at a different time.
Did a little research on parties from Miss Manners. So this would be the
Oh, this
headline.
one was this is a good one.
Stop trying to co-host my party, and that kind of falls into what some coworkers have said to me, and other friends. Let's say we were hosting or you're hosting, and someone who's a guest of that party is saying, "Oh, I'm going to do it this way." Well, you're going to do it this way. I want to get this done. So the question posed here, the thing posed here is my wife and I entertain frequently. We get joy out of hosting friends and all that. They're attentive. Everyone tells us they host lovely lovely evenings. They can't wait. The problem is one of our longtime friends who tries to dictate when we will do what during the evening. Now I've experienced this a couple times. Not all the time, not everybody, but you know,
Never had this issue that I can remember.
yeah. But it says the recent example, we were hosting a dinner party and everyone's saying they're so full after a 3-course dinner, they couldn't think of dessert yet. So these people here listed decided they delayed it by 30 minutes and they played cards. Digest the food, which is normal. You don't never hork down our dessert right after the meal. It was always go back to the living room, go back to the front room, chill out, and then you have dessert. But around they go on to say around the 20-minute mark, they excuse themselves for a moment to put the coffee on and return to the game. And this guest, they say, announced to everyone it'd be the last hand and it's time for dessert. How does that go? How does that work?
You're dictating what the guest, and when it was already said, let's give it about a half hour.
Right. How are you dictating what the host is doing? I mean, what do you think out there, people? I mean, have you ever encountered that? And they go on to say, I interjected, just set the coffee on the brew, and they're going to wait till it's done. And what does she say here? She goes on to say, Miss Manners retorts with, there's a long-standing theater etiquette rule that states there's only one director. Writers, producers, and actors with feedback must filter their notes through the said director so as to not confuse the performers on stage.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly. Miss Manners suggests you apply this rule to your dinner parties. Tell your friend you appreciate the input, but if they want to take you aside to give it, that would be less confusing for other guests. So stay out of the kitchen, chill out, let the host be the host. So it's never been prevalent.
Hey, you scoostamad. When you host, you could do what you want.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
really,
there's a you want to help. Help is always wanted, no matter what. Everyone's gonna say, yeah, I'll take the help if I need it. But if you're trying to call the shots, I don't know about that. That's just
no, that's not appropriate. Spina scoostamad.
Scoostamad.
You're being booed in that case.
How about guests inviting other guests? You want to cover that one, Tim? If it opens?
Yeah, I got it.
Well, the headline is how to invite guests to someone else's party. I've never done that, Chris.
No,
we've never done that.
No, that I'm thinking more of like it would be if somebody invited you, you were single, something you could bring a plus one, or hey, bring this person. And I know these people were this way. You're talking about people that are, they might be a little well-to-do. It seemed like varying occupations there, different mix, eclectic mix of people. And they'd say, hey, invite some of these people. Why don't you invite some of these people to my party type of thing? And but and obviously they probably do because it said they are fond of giving large parties. Bring some of these interesting people, it's no strings attached. There's nothing to do. And this wasn't, anything to do with that you're doing it was going to involve any fundraising or sales like a Tupperware party. It was just, just for socialization, looking to bring another dimension to their parties because they're trying to tap into their friends' network of people that might be interesting to the usual crowd that they invite. So, how would you do that? I don't know. You're talking about now you got to go to your friends. Hey, so and so wants you to come because they think you're interesting, and I think and she
Right.
wanted to know how do we do this. And she said basically it's everyone's best in everyone's best interest that they know who's being asked into their home. Like
Sure.
giving pertinent names to the host and having them extend the invitation. And I think that would be really more appropriate to do something like that, where all right, I'll give you some names, but I'll let them know, but you invite them, you extend an invitation, because some people
Sure.
could be they could be uncomfortable if you brought them along. Hey, my friend wants to meet you and wants you to meet their friends and stuff like that. So it could be uncomfortable if they didn't get the invitation extended to them right off
Right.
the top.
How about just a general like Christmas or Easter or something like that? If you were hosting, I can't say we've ever had that problem where someone invites someone else without saying anything.
Oh, bringing somebody with them,
I,
right? No.
yeah, bring unless it's a girlfriend or boyfriend that you don't know necessarily, like it's a new boyfriend, new girlfriend, whatever. But just oh, she had nothing to do with it, I brought her with. Like, that would be, especially unannounced. That would be kind of uncouth
Right. It would
in
be,
a
well,
sense.
especially if you're not prepared for it. You have the table set for 10 people and it's 11th or 12th person shows up. Now you have to scramble and
Right.
expand your table and put those eggs. So that would make it would be uncomfortable if you did something like that. In this
Right.
case, this little anecdotal question here, it wasn't more something like that. Somebody was showing up unexpected with somebody. It was, hey, I want you to uh, invite your friends to come to my party because I think they'd be interesting and they could contribute to our mix of people in our group. Uh, and when she said, well, it would be probably best if you do the inviting, extend the
Mm-hmm.
invite, even though I would tell these people in advance, hey, this is what they want, but I prefer they ask you, however it would go. So,
Right.
but showing up with somebody that you didn't know was coming, it would be
That would be.
uncomfortable if you have table for 10 and you have an 11th person. Yeah, now you got to
Mm-hmm.
make room.
That might be a cross off the list next time. We could probably do one more. I'm thinking you brought this up as far as planning with with Judy, how she does it, sending
Mm-hmm.
unsolicited dishes home with guests.
Well, and it was, somebody bringing him, I think. They weren't asked to bring something, they brought something.
Yep.
It may have not, to me, it sounded like, well, it says the host family provides drinks, appetizer, a couple of main courses, and desserts for all. Some guests bring food to share for a variety of reasons. Those dishes are barely tasted or left unchecked. So that's, again, it goes back to the hostess
Notifying
wants
people.
to the hostess wants to send the food back with the givers, but the host insists on keeping it. And I'm going to tell you, here in the South here, it's different. If
Really?
people bring stuff, they'll take what they brought home with them if there is a
If
significant
there's
amount left
leftovers?
over. Yeah. And it
Right.
wasn't anything that was unsolicited, because again, when we host something here,
We
Judy's
bring.
got this is what I need type of
Right.
stuff. So it's
So
organized that way. That would be a
down by you,
good way not to do it.
when you say
To not,
they take it all home, or do you portion it out like what we do on holidays? Okay, if you
we
want
will
leftovers, we've got trays. Take your leftovers if you
we
want. Take whatever you want.
we do that, but let's say somebody brought something and there's still stuff left over.
They'll
Some
take it
people,
all.
yeah, I'll take a little, we'll portion it out, we'll take it, but yeah, they bring it home with them. It's just how it
Hmm.
is, and it's not
Interesting.
something that's looked down upon or frowned upon. it's
It's just
it's
what it
I- it's
is.
cu- it's customary here. Yeah,
That's
but
what.
we do portion it out if you want anything, and sometimes people, but they'll bring it home, because it's probably the thought behind it is, why should you have to clean up my dish for me and then bring it back for me, stuff like that.
Right.
But
Right.
usually, if somebody has something here and it's all eaten, I'll clean the dish for them, and they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Why are
we
you
always
doing
clean dishes too.
that? Why are you
That
doing that?" Well, why not? It doesn't matter. Saves you a
right.
little time.
Well, like I said, we've got takeout trays. Where do we get them at? I think GFS. Here, there's a store called GFS.
Mm-hmm.
It's the trays you get at restaurants. So we always bring them out. Hey, dinner's done. If you want leftovers, make your containers. Put your name on it. That's
Yeah,
the
we do that.
notice. That's the notice that we're
Mhm.
cleaning up. Gonna prepare for dessert too. It's like get your leftovers
Right.
going. Whatever you don't want, we're packing up for ourselves. Or if we don't want it, we'll just pitch it.
Well,
And we're
and
cleaning your dishes. Whatever you made, we're cleaning your dishes for you.
yeah, right. And what you just recently been in our house, so you know the open floor plan, and
Mhm.
I love that because
There's
in
room.
either of our last two residences in Illinois that we lived, it was closed off. I mean,
Right.
unless people
Right. There was
sat in the kitchen, the main dining room was one. So I would be in there washing dishes and doing stuff, and you're not able to join in conversation. Here, it makes it more enjoyable with the open floor plan that I can talk to people as
right
I'm washing in it,
as
and
you're
it
doing stuff, preparing.
passes the time quicker.
Exactly. Exactly. I think we could just touch on them. The other ones are kind of, we kind of touched on them anyways. But
Yes, we did.
as far as, one thing I want to bring up, I had in there,
Okay, well, here it
church
is, Mark.
picnics.
Just
Go ahead.
before you do that, there was one about somebody commandeering a conversation. How do you
Oh,
handle that? Tell them
they would
shut
go
the
into
fuck up.
exactly. Exactly. Well, yeah.
Sorry,
Mm,
Miss Manners, but
we're not discussing that here. We're here to have Christmas. We're
I
here to
did
enjoy
like what
conversation.
she said. She said just pull other people out into a different conversation, and eventually
Right.
this person who might be boorish in the conversation, suddenly they'll find themselves standing alone.
But as far as church picnics, I'm sure you had some at St. Donatus. We
Mm-hmm.
had an incarnation, but we always had it at the Forest Preserve, always after Mass. You couldn't skip Mass, you had to go.
Oh, of
But
course.
I remember it was always just as easy to run up to KFC and get 2 buckets of chicken and the Jewel Pop. It couldn't be Coke, couldn't be Pepsi. It was the Jewel brand. What was it? Canfield's? Canfield's Pop that was
Yeah, I
Jewel?
think it was.
Yeah. That and then the church always, I think the church always provided like a dessert type of thing. Nothing big, nothing expensive, but that was always a thing. KFC, some people, it was always bring your own food. It wasn't a potluck, it was bring your own food, we're providing dessert type of thing. But it was, we did it for like 8 years, 9 years. It was the best. It was the best to get everyone together. Even that's when you could bring people who weren't members of the church. Like if my neighbors, they went to a separate church, different church, you could bring them as long as they brought food and stuff. And there was always welcome.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
because there was space, it was a forest preserve for crying out loud.
Right.
The ones on Central there.
Conkey Woods,
Conkey
Turtlehead
Woods.
Lake,
Yep.
Burr
That's
Oak
what we did.
Woods.
As far as one other thing I want to, when you did you do graduation parties and communion parties and stuff like that? I mean, obviously they
Oh, when
weren't
we were growing
big
up,
ones.
sure.
Okay.
The rites of passage, yes,
Yep,
absolutely.
there we go. As far as the adult beverages, did you get kegs of beer or was it just like the cases of like the bottles or the cans?
Nah, there's never kegs.
Never kegs? Okay, yeah, we were always just it was old style. Never Budweiser, never Miller. It was always Joe style. The cans of Joe style.
Always Joe style.
Sometimes Falstaff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Falstaff beer. But I remember that when it was a special like communion or something, my dad would always let me drink the foam. He'd always pour, a good head off his beer. I would get to drink the foam. That was a treat.
There you go.
Yep, Joe style and Falstaff. So, if you have any interesting party etiquettes, party horror stories, holiday horror stories, where people end up in jail, please drop us a line. We want to know about it.
Grab a bite, grab a seat. Snacky time's got something sweet. Chips, dips, late night crime. Everybody loves snacky time.
All right. Everybody loves snacky time. Do you love snacky time, Tim?
Yeah, a little bit, sure.
There we go.
I was just reading this drink that we're going to do. Just make sure before you open up, Mark, it says shake well before drinking.
Does it?
It does. Sure does.
Where does it say that?
On the can.
Oh, there we go. I can't, even with my glasses, there we go, above the UPC. Shake well before. Oh, I bet you because of the starch in there. Anyways, we have a drink and a snack here. So we'll get into the drink, and I'll let you do the chips, Tim. This is a beverage. It's Yeo's, YEO apostrophe S, Yeo's grass jelly drink. And Tim was looking at this before, and it's basically a Malaysian, Asian type. The grass jelly is a snack, like a little. I guess it looks like like it could be a gummy worm type snack. It's like Jello,
we'll go with that. Yeah, a cube.
a cubed Jello. The ingredients: water, grass jelly, which is derived from Misora chinis. I can't. You said it before. I can't even pronounce it.
Misona chianensis.
Whatever
That's
that
the Latin name for it.
Licorice extract, cane sugar, cornstarch, and calcium lactate.
And from what I remember reading about it, that's in the mint family.
Right.
But
it's the mint.
Basically, do you remember Jolt?
Yes. Oh, I love this.
The pop Jolt.
Yes.
Twice the sugar.
Twice the sugar, twice the caffeine. This has 28 grams of carbs. Total sugars, which includes added sugars, is 27 grams. So,
what do you remember? Do you remember Jolt?
Oh yeah.
This is the Malaysian version of that.
Well, let's see about the taste. So again, we'll post a picture of both of these. Yes, it's a product of Malaysia. A refreshing botanical drink with bits of grass jelly for added bursts of fun. Oh, like a boba. Shake it up here. And I've got a bottle of water just in case.
Ooh, watch it. Comes out a little carbonated.
Oh, it doesn't smell bad. It smells just like a juice. Whatever. Okay. Moment of truth. Oh, it just tastes like a very weak but sweet iced tea.
Yes, you're right. Correct. It's not bad, but it's more like it would be with the sugar in it and the corn starch. It would be like sweet tea.
There we go. Sweet tea. Down by you.
But let me tell you, we went and celebrated Judy's birthday a few weeks ago, and we stopped and ate at a Bojangles, and they had tea and sweet tea there. Difference. Tea, just regular tea, and what I do is on occasion I'll treat myself to sweet tea, but generally I don't.
Yeah, it's too sweet.
Because of this reason.
Yeah, too sweet.
Regular tea, what I'll do is I'll get the unsweetened tea and I'll take a packet of like the sugar substitute. So you're not really, and not it could be that or the sweet and low stuff like that.
Equal, whatever.
So that's probably not a lot of calories. So if you just had this, it was a 22-ounce cup of unsweetened tea is 10 calories. Sweet tea, 280 calories.
Yeah. Sweet tea is cheese, but you could definitely tell. I mean, this is not like a fresh sun tea where you added sweetener. You could tell this is like a Lipton canned iced tea. I'm not really getting mint or licorice like it says.
No, it's just in there.
It tastes a little vegetal, very, very small hint of vegetal.
If you smell it, Mark, you could. It's herbaceous.
Right.
That might be a little bit of the licorice extract in there.
Yeah, it's not like I thought it would be. I thought it'd be like grass, like chewing on grass. This is not bad.
It's like a tea.
It's a very weak tea. Sweet though, very sweet.
The Malaysian version of sweet tea.
Okay. Yeo's grass jelly drink, not bad. 10.1 fluid ounces. We'll post a picture of the package. Okay, not bad. I thought it was going to be worse. Next one is going to be, and I'll let you describe it, Tim, a Lay's potato chip. The base is a potato chip, and it's cucumber flavor.
And let me just tell you, first of all.
Are we going to do the Google Translate?
Well, we could, but let me grab that. Let me do that. But as a rule, I do not like cucumbers. I used to eat them when I was younger, but I don't eat them now. I don't know why. Just can't do it. I can eat pickles, but not cucumbers.
Okay.
I won't. I refuse. So this is going to be a stretch for me.
Okay, I'm doing the Google
Let me do
Translate.
the.
I'm doing the translate real quick, and then you could describe the flavor, I guess, or whatever. Where'd it go?
It's just cucumber flavor. That's
Stop it. Why isn't it? There we go. There we go. On the side, it's got the Asian, Chinese, I guess. Meet the big games. That's the translation I'm getting. Meet the big games. Winning. High, nothing is big.
$10,000. What's that? Yen in cash or yuan in
Yen.
cash?
One. And on the back, Lay's delicious secret. Oh, wait. The delicious secret of Lay's. Thinly sliced real potatoes, pure taste, thin enough and crispy enough. Okay. Let's open it up here. Come on.
It's a chip, and actually, when you look at it, it's a lighter chip than what you normally would get.
Ooh. Okay. Now, when stuff says cucumber, 9 times out of 10, you're getting the dill. They're pairing it with dill for some reason. Cucumber, whatever, is 9 times out of 10. Whatever.
It says on the back, cucumber flavor seasoning.
Oh yeah. You get that first
taste is
first taste, very cucumbery. It's not dill like a dill pickle. This is cucumber. This is absolutely crazy. It's good.
You definitely can taste it though.
Yeah.
Just at that first bite.
That first, when it first hits your tongue, you do get cucumber, like the green part. Again, another vegetal type thing. You get the cucumber taste, and it's not real salty. Wow, that is wicked. They did a good job on this one. Again, you're not a cucumber guy, so you might. I don't know if you.
It's not terrible. It's not super cucumber
right
flavor forward like a real cucumber. So it would be tolerable.
Right. This is good.
There you go.
A little, very, kind of like a little sweetness, kind of like barbecue chips would be a little sweet. Not sugary sweet, but just a little sweetness. But yeah, they did a good job on this one. The Lay's cucumber potato chips. Again, it's not overpowering. Like sometimes you get like the old taco flavored Dorito chips where your fingers would be Cheeto you get the Cheeto residue from Cheetos.
Yeah.
This isn't it. This is very light, not very salty. Not bad.
Not bad.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I know you're eyeballing that spicy ramen for future shows.
Oh, I'm going to tell you the one that I'm not looking forward to. The crawfish.
The crawfish. Oh. Maybe we'll do that one.
Fangul.
Oh, you got to remind me to bring when you come in. I got to bring you your tomato sauce chips. I got them here, so we can do that.
There you go.
Well, that was snacky time. The Yeo's grass jelly drink and the Lay's cucumber flavor potato chips. So if you got stories of your parties you're hosting, your horror stories, whatever traditions you had on those, please drop us a line, give us a call. Tim here is going to take us out and tell you how to let us know about it. And we also want your Sunday gravy recipes and stories and all that. So please send them in. Tim, how do they get a hold of us? Before we do that, Tim, our next shows are going to be number 8, memorable vacations, and number 9, preparing for retirement. Tim, you'd be a little bit more versed on that because you are in it. And we're going to hopefully have a special guest on, a friend of Tim's. So, Tim, you want to take us out?
I can. So just, send in your comments, questions, or stories for those episodes now, especially the one preparing for retirement and memorable vacations. We might read them or respond on the air. How you get a hold of us, you can email us at sundaygravyradio@gmail.com. On our socials, we are at Sunday Gravy Radio, or you could call the fan hotline at 815-242-2151. That's 815-242-2151. Sunday Gravy Radio, where the table's always full and the conversation never ends. We'll see you next time. Same table, same gravy.